Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Being at the best stage of development. Our manhood's prime vigor. The time of maturity when power and vigor are greatest. Cover with a primer. Apply a primer to. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. A natural number that has exactly two distinct natural number divisors, one in itself. First in rank or degree. The Prime Minister. Of superior grade. Prime beef. Fill with priming liquid. Prime a car engine. Insert a primer into a gun, mine, or charge, preparatory to detonation or firing. Prime a cannon. Of or relating to or being an integer that cannot be factored into other integers. Prime number. The second canonical hour, about 6 a.m. Used of the first or originating agent. Prime mover. Being at the best stage of development. An imaginary great circle on the surface of the Earth passing through the north and south poles at right angles to the equator. All points on the same meridian have the same longitude. The highest level or degree attainable. The highest stage of development. A town in eastern Mississippi. Of or happening at noon. Meridian hour. The time of maturity when power and vigor are greatest. Material in the top layer of the surface of the Earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. The part of a scene, or picture, that lies behind objects in the foreground. He posed her against a background of rolling hills. A rational motive for a belief or action. The grounds for their declaration. Hit or reach the ground. A relation that provides the foundation for something. Cover with a primer. Apply a primer to. A connection between an electrical device and a large conducting body, such as the Earth, which is taken to be at zero voltage. Fix firmly and stably. Use as a basis for, found on. Bring to the ground. The storm grounded the ship. The solid part of the Earth's surface. He dropped the logs on the ground. The loose soft material that makes up a large part of the land surface. The first or preliminary coat of paint or size applied to a surface. A position to be won or defended in battle, or as if in battle. They gained ground step by step. A relatively homogeneous percept extending back of the figure on which attention is focused. Art. The surface, as a wall or canvas, prepared to take the paint for a painting. Confine or restrict to the ground. After the accident, they grounded the plane and the pilot. Connect to a ground. Ground the electrical connections for safety reasons. Hit a ground ball. He grounded to the second baseman. Hit onto the ground. Instruct someone in the fundamentals of a subject. Place or put on the ground. Throw to the ground in order to stop play and avoid being tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Seal consisting of a coating of a tar or rubber-like material on the underside of a motor vehicle to retard corrosion. Cover with a primer. Apply a primer to. thick soft fur lying beneath the longer and coarser guard hair. The first or preliminary coat of paint or size applied to a surface. Produce or yield flowers. The cherry tree bloomed. The organic process of bearing flowers. You will stop all bloom if you let the flowers go to seed. The best time of youth. A rosy color, especially in the cheeks, taken as a sign of good health. Reproductive organ of angiosperm plants, especially one having showy or colorful parts. A powdery deposit on a surface. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. Develop or come to a promising stage. Youth blossomed into maturity. Produce or yield flowers. Reproductive organ of angiosperm plants, especially one having showy or colorful parts. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. The time and process of budding and unfolding of blossoms. A powdery deposit on a surface. Any red eruption of the skin. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. Produce or yield flowers. Reproductive organ of angiosperm plants, especially one having showy or colorful parts. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. A plant cultivated for its blooms or blossoms. Turn red, as if in embarrassment or shame. Having an abundant supply of money or possessions of value. A speculator flush with cash. Sudden brief sensation of heat, associated with menopause and some mental disorders. Sudden reddening of the face, as from embarrassment or guilt or shame or modesty. Irrigate with water from a sluice. A rosy color, especially in the cheeks, taken as a sign of good health. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. A sudden rapid flow, as of water. He heard the flush of a toilet. Rinse, clean, or empty with a liquid. Flush the wound with antibiotics. Make level or straight. The swift release of a store of effective force. A poker hand with all 5 cards in the same suit. Cause to flow or flood with or as if with water. Flush the meadows. Flow freely. The garbage flushed down the river. Glow or cause to glow with warm color or light. The sky flushed with rosy splendor. Of a surface exactly even with an adjoining one, forming the same plane. A door flush with the wall. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. The highest point, of something. At the peak of the pyramid. A V shape. The most extreme possible amount or value. Voltage peak. To reach the highest point. Attain maximum intensity, activity. That wild, speculative spirit peaked in 1929. The top or extreme point of something, usually a mountain or hill. The view from the peak was magnificent. A brim that projects to the front to shade the eyes. The highest level or degree attainable. The highest stage of development. The peak of perfection. The period of greatest prosperity or productivity. A natural number that has exactly 2 distinct natural number divisors, one in itself. Be performed for the first time. We premiered the opera of the young composer and it was a critical success. Perform a work for the first time. The person who is head of government, in several countries. The person who holds the position of head of the government in the United Kingdom. First in rank or degree. An architect of premier rank. Preceding all others in time. The premier showing. The person or thing chosen or selected. The act of choosing or selecting. Your choice of colors was unfortunate. One of a number of things from which only one can be chosen. My only choice is to refuse. Of superior grade. Choice wines. Appealing to refined taste. Choice wine. Goods or money obtained illegally. To move or force, especially in an effort to get something open. Regard highly. Think much of. We prize his creativity. Something given for victory or superiority in a contest or competition or for winning a lottery. The prize was a free trip to Europe. Something given as a token of victory. Hold dear. I prize these old photographs. Of superior grade. Prize carnations. Music. The distinctive property of a complex sound, a voice or noise or musical sound. A degree or grade of excellence or worth. The quality of students has risen. A characteristic property that defines the apparent individual nature of something. Each town has a quality all its own. Of superior grade. Quality paper. An essential and distinguishing attribute of something or someone. The quality of mercy is not strained. High social status. A man of quality. Of high social status. People of quality. Pick out, select, or choose from a number of alternatives. She selected a pair of shoes from among the dozen the salesgirl had shown her. Selected or chosen for special qualifications. Of superior grade. Select peaches. Of birds, having developed feathers or plumage, often used in combination. Develop and reach maturity. Undergo maturation. He matured fast. Fully considered and perfected. Mature plans. Fully developed or matured and ready to be eaten or used. Full-bodied mature wines. Cause to ripen or develop fully. Age matures a good wine. Grow old or older. Cause to ripen and discharge pus. Become due for repayment. These bonds mature in 2005. Characteristic of maturity. Mature for her age. Develop and work out fully in one's mind. I need to mature my thoughts. Having reached full natural growth or development. A mature cell. The fielding position of the player on a baseball team who is stationed at first of the bases in the infield, counting counterclockwise from home plate. Indicating the beginning unit in a series. Serving to set in motion. His first, or maiden, speech in Congress. Serving to begin. The first verse. The time at which something is supposed to begin. Ranking above all others. Was first in her class. Prominently forward. The lowest forward gear ratio in the gearbox of a motor vehicle, used to start a car moving. The first element in a countable series. The first of the month. Before anything else. First we must consider the garter snake. The first or highest in an ordering or series. He wanted to be the first. An honors degree of the highest class. Highest in pitch or chief among parts or voices or instruments or orchestra sections. First soprano. Preceding all others in time or space or degree. The first house on the right. Having a higher rank. Superior officer. A combatant who is able to defeat rivals. A character or symbol set or printed or written above and immediately to one side of another character. Written or printed above and to one side of another character. One of greater rank or station or quality. The largest freshwater lake in the world, the deepest of the Great Lakes. A town in northwest Wisconsin on Lake Superior across from Duluth. Having an orbit farther from the Sun than the Earth's orbit. Mars and Jupiter are the closest in of the superior planets. Of high or superior quality or performance. Superior wisdom derived from experience. Of or characteristic of high rank or importance. A superior ruler. Often followed by to, above being affected or influenced by. He is superior to fear. Sometimes followed by to, not subject to or influenced by. Overcome by a superior opponent. The head of a religious community. An integer that has no integral factors but itself and one. The period of time in your life after your physical growth has stopped and you are fully developed. The state, and responsibilities, of a person who has attained maturity. The date on which an obligation must be repaid. State of being mature, full development. The period of time in your life after your physical growth has stopped and you are fully developed. A substance used as a coating to protect or decorate a surface, especially a mixture of pigment suspended in a liquid, dries to form a hard coating. Artists use paint and pigment interchangeably. Makeup consisting of a pink or red powder applied to the cheeks. Basketball. A space, including the foul line, in front of the basket at each end of a basketball court, usually painted a different color from the rest of the court. He dominates play in the paint. Apply a liquid to, e.g., paint the gutters with linseed oil. Apply paint to, coat with paint. We painted the rooms yellow. Make a painting. He painted all day in the garden. Make a painting of. He painted his mistress many times. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. The monthly discharge of blood from the uterus of non-pregnant women from puberty to menopause. A unit of geological time during which a system of rocks formed. Ganoid fishes swarmed during the earlier geological periods. A punctuation mark, placed at the end of a declarative sentence to indicate a full stop or after abbreviations. In England they call a period a stop. Ice hockey, one of 3 divisions into which play is divided in hockey games. The end or completion of something. Death put a period to his endeavors. The interval taken to complete one cycle of a regularly repeating phenomenon. An amount of time. Hastened the period of time of his recovery. An amount of time. A time period of 30 years. Put into a group. Determine the number or amount of. One of a series published periodically. The property possessed by a sum or total or indefinite quantity of units or individuals. The number of parameters is small. The number is used in calling a particular telephone. He has an unlisted number. Add up in number or quantity. A short performance that is part of a longer program. It was one of the best numbers he ever did. A symbol used to represent a number. Place a limit on the number of. Enumerate. We must number the names of the great mathematicians. A clothing measurement. A number 13 shoe. A concept of quantity involving zero and units. Every number has a unique position in the sequence. An item of clothing. She preferred the black nylon number. A numbered item in a series. Take the number 2 to the main square, then change to the number 5. A numeral or string of numerals that is used for identification and may be attached to accounts, memberships, etc. She refused to give them her social security number. A select company of people. I hope to become one of their number before I die. Give numbers to. You should number the pages of the thesis. The grammatical category for the forms of nouns and pronouns and verbs that are used depending on the number of entities involved, singular or dual or plural. In English, the subject and the verb must agree in number. Make full, also in a metaphorical sense. Make full, also in a metaphorical sense. Fill a container. Any material that fills a space or container. There was not enough fill for the trench. Occupy the whole of. The liquid fills the container. Become full. The pool slowly filled with water. Fill, satisfy or meet a want or need or conscient or restriction. Assume, as of positions or roles. Eat until one is sated. He filled up on turkey. Fill to satisfaction. Appoint someone to a position or a job. A quantity sufficient to satisfy. He ate his fill of potatoes. Plug with a substance. Fill a cavity.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.